Welcome everybody to Legendary Tales. Um, uh, Vidar, you have a recap for us, right?
Sure. So we started where we yeeted back to the warbands after, you know, getting blown up, I believe. And there was a dragonborn sitting there chilling with the Slakovaik tattoo. And we introduced ourselves to Ilya. And Ilya can smell Soulforged. And was able to smell a void Soulforged that smelled kind of like carbon smoke and ozone. And another Soulforge smelled like blueberries. They were in Artstadt. Then Technician bartered with Stanislava to get one of his grenades back and explained to her how it worked and how it's not a magical cluster grenade. And then we went to the forge. Draug went and got some bones. So that way she could craft some stuff. And we then went to the forge. There was some crafting stuff that happened that I didn't take good notes on because it doesn't apply to me and I only care about myself. Uh, Draug improved our compass, so the Soulforge Finding Compass now has 3 needles on it that all point in different directions of the different Soulforged. There was one in Verdengard, Artstadt, and Stiltheim. We went to Artstadt because it seemed like it was the most urgent. And then there were some French people there, and we traveled inland to Initmont, and we were told to buy some garlic for the vampires in the woods to the east. And we finished up finding out that vampires really don't care about garlic.
Okay, and that's pretty much it. Are you guys in? You guys are in Inimon right now, right? And you just rested and you got up, and you are on your way to Roulon and Roulon, Core, or Helrada. You'd have to look at your compass. You wake up the next morning in the inn to a breakfast. But yeah, they Initmont is the super small, just budding community trying to build like a new thing. Um, and as soon as you wake up, there are tons of people in the tavern. There's actually even tables set up outside. People are eating out there everywhere. Mostly eggs and other protein-based food. What are you guys doing?
I would like some breakfast. I'll wake up and go get breakfast. What's the dining situation in this tavern? Is it like family style bench seating?
Yes.
I'm gonna go and plop down at a table where there is some distance between me and other people.
Okay.
Rep is going to use his newfound empathy that relates to food to see if he can observe new things about people while they're eating. So he's slightly creepily being dressed as phalanx, staring at people while they eat.
Interesting.
Just a little.
How many people have rocked up to the tavern? You said it's like a lot of people, right?
There's a lot of people. A lot of you could tell that they're all like workers. Most of them are very fit and built, and they are going in to get food, which they don't pay for, and then they just immediately come out and start eating. And a lot of them are having conversations. A lot of them are wearing the sort of like overalls and basically working clothes.
It's definitely like overwhelming, like overstimulating. So I'm gonna kind of slip out and go and try and hunt some food in the nearby forest.
Okay. Sure.
Noisy people give me a headache.
Go ahead and make a survival check, please.
Ooh. I don't think I've ever clicked this button before. And that's why.
That could be worse.
Yeah, I guess.
Like the first half of that number, that's what we usually roll for everything. So, you know.
The +5 helped.
It definitely did.
Yep.
You're able to find like a small, like a rabbit or two that you could easily skin and then eat yourself. Not an issue. Not an issue at all.
So I'll hunt them, catch them, and then bring them back and sit in a more calm area of the town, if there is one.
Yes, there
Possibly
is one
in
closer,
within eyesight of the tavern.
closer to where the bridge and the other buildings are being built to the north. Basically, they're building across a smaller section of the river that has a large. So basically, there used to be a waterfall there, but they have sort of rerouted the river to make it a little bit more easy to get across,
Okay.
and then.
So I'm like sitting near a canal, like skinning and washing
Yes.
the rabbits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so. Is anyone else doing anything specific, or is everybody just eating?
Vidar is gonna sit near Loershik because sitting near somebody is more social than he would normally be. But he knows that Loershik's gonna be too busy eating to talk, so he doesn't actually have to interact and be really social.
Hey, Vidar, how are you?
It's not polite to talk with your mouth full, Loershik.
Got him.
Wait, what? Oh. Is it not updated? Son of a gun. Okay. What is Sabbath? Is Sabbath doing anything weird, or are you just chilling?
Just chilling. My skills are to forge, and while I can't hunt, someone else already has tried. So vibing, basically.
Fair enough.
Not much of a reason to do anything right now.
Fair enough. Oh. Okay. All right. You guys eat. You guys eat. You get past it that morning. That morning, it's fairly chilly. In Artstadt, generally speaking, it is constantly or very close to summertime. Most of the year, it is starting to get a little bit chilly because the world is moving. For some reason, this world moves in planetary seasons. It doesn't have the same kind of seasons that Earth does. The planet is actually much smaller, so it has planetary seasons, and it's moving closer and more toward winter, and therefore it's getting a little bit chilly. When I say chilly, I'm talking like as soon as the sun rises, it hits like 60 degrees in Artstadt. And that's pretty cold for most people, except for all of you from the crag. If anyone's from the crag, it's like 60 degrees is a summer day for them. So, and like peak height of summer. The hottest it will ever be in the crag is basically 60 or maybe 65 in freedom units, that is. What? Okay. All of you meet back up in front of the tavern after all the workers start heading back, or they're going to like these massive sort of shanty town of tents and other small temporary buildings to either rest or get ready for the day, or shower, to do whatever the workers have to do to get prepared. And there's about 100 to 150 workers total, because the bridge that they're building is sort of part arcane energy generation. You're not really sure what's happening, but they have these large stone bricks that have runes carved inside of them. And they basically have them all piled up onto one side, and they're currently moving them into position to build something in front of the sort of artificial waterfall that they've created. What are you guys doing?
Where are they building this bridge exactly? Over the canal?
Yes. So the canal also is sort of a lock, but they've rerouted part of the river down and off to the side, so it goes down and then it comes around to the other part of the river. And that small island that they have, they're building a sort of dam, but for arcane purposes, because they have these huge chunks of stone that have these giant runes carved in them, and they have been tempered as well. You're just not really sure what for, because you can't see the big pictures sort of gone.
Is it
Which
for-
cardinal direction is this river flowing that they're now damming? Sorry.
The river in this one specifically flows north to south. So the elevation actually goes down toward my bond. And they're sort of rerouting it. It would be west, and then around the side. So the map would actually be changing off to one side. I have it reversed in my head. I apologize. I was looking at it from the picture of me going from north to south. I have it reversed in my head. I apologize.
So by damming this river, my bond is they're not going to have a natural flow of river anymore.
No, they will, because of the lake to the east of my bond. Still provides enough water for them to get that much. And they're only damming a part of it for some reason. It's only like maybe a fifth of the river total. So it's still, and this river is almost a mile wide. So it's a huge river. And when I say it, like, it's literally almost a mile wide. The rivers in Artstat are one of the large, probably contribute to most of the fresh water in the world. It's probably like 40 or 50% of the entire freshwater supply of the world is in Artstat. So
What's the name of this river / dam / lock? The Inanmont Lock Dam? Dam lock?
it has not been named yet.
How about the river? I'm just assuming we would have caught some of this in conversation, right?
Oh, the river would be called the River Main, Maigne. That's what they call it. Or the locals say Mina, is how they pronounce it. Maigne is how they pronounce the name of the river. Because this is like the river that literally flows basically throughout all of Artstat, but it changes directions, and a lot of it comes from the mountains through the forests, but they don't really, that changes constantly. Where the actual water comes from in the mountains. So,
Where does the water flow north to that thing there, or does it flow south from it?
it
On the,
flows.
like, top of the
it
island.
flows from the south to the north on this specific stretch of the river. As soon as you get a little farther south from the bridge of Initmont, right, of Initmont, it switches to flow north to south past Roulon, because this is sort of a high point, is right here at this conjunction here. Because this mountain range does go pretty high, but it's not high enough to be mountainous when you go through the pass, through the forest toward Roulon.
So from Kesrada it goes west to east, and then south to north, and continues west to east?
Yes, that's exactly it. Kesrada
Okay.
is one of the highest elevations in, basically this mountain range here is the highest of all of the elevations. So the lake southwest of Roulon flows basically southwest to northeast into the river, and then all of that contributes down south toward Bersigny, Helrada, and Poulon.
Did you say that they were using arcane magic to build this bridge or dam or whatever?
No,
it was?
they're using a part of the dam section of it is enchanted, but you don't know for what purpose yet, because the runes are not in order. They don't make sense. There's like a bunch of evocation runes, a bunch of abjuration runes. Like, they do belong to a bunch of different things of magic, but when they're put in a specific order, that's what the spell would be, or like the purpose of it. But you're not really sure, because the blocks are basically stacked on top of each other, and you can't really discern an order.
And this is different than like arcane magic users. So like, this isn't like sus as hell that there's arcane magic in Artstat.
No, magic in architecture as a form of engineering is a new thing that was everywhere. That was everywhere in Nilhund. Nilhund, this was like a standard of life for everything that happened on that continent to begin with. Like they had hydroelectric dams that literally the water flowed through it, and then they harvested that arcane energy to put that in toward like other, like creating arcane constructs that would do construct. Like they had these walking cranes that were literally miles wide, that they could literally pick up entire parts of the land and move it. And this type of thing to the rest of the world is brand new because Nilhund had enough money and magic to just do whatever they wanted, but the rest of the world had no interest because they didn't need it. So, and now a lot of the world has been displaced. They're trying to recreate what Nilhund had because the level, so the base standard of living in Nilhund, like everywhere else in the world is like the baseline, right? Nilhund was almost off the charts with just their standard of living was so high that it would be like 100 gold a day for everyone else. But they just had everything in plentiful. So
You could walk to any corner and there would be a pharmacy, and they would always have at least 4 sprites in the magic fridge.
pretty much. That's literally, and it wouldn't cost you. It would cost you pennies. But if you were to go do that same thing in Artstad, it'd probably be like 20 or 30 gold to have that just existing everywhere. So for Technician, who's been to Nilhund before it was destroyed, this is like, what? They're just now doing this when the Nilhund established this like 10 or 15 years ago. So sort of a big deal. If you get what I mean.
So I do, and I guess for clarity, the only crossing of the river is this bridge that is currently under construction, or
No,
is there another?
There's a smaller bridge that is older, that as you look at it to cross it, it is in major disrepair. So it has not been maintained by anyone for a very long time, to the point where all like the stone struts and things have been worn down to the point where without a magical intervention that gives it like a year of life maybe. So
are there any obvious like ferry services like in the town to get across?
Yes, every half an hour there is an actual boat that will take you from one side of the river to the other, and it basically takes them a half an hour to get across. And they have 2 boats. They have one on both sides of the bridge. The bridge has a massive chain that links both sides, and they have a sort of cable that's linked to that they basically, the guy just pulls you along the cable all the way across. It takes him half an hour to do that. And there's like a crew of guys, 2 or 3 guys that take turns pulling, and these dudes are like the most fit men you've ever seen, besides like the king. The king in the Vernon Guard was about the peak physical fitness that you've ever seen, and these guys are almost at his level.
So Rep is eventually going to go find Lorchik and sort of nudge him and say, "Are we still heading east?"
We're still in the tavern, right? So
You're like standing outside the tavern looking at all the construction and all the people everywhere.
I pull out the compass.
All right. Comparing it to probably Sabas's maps, you can tell that it's definitely pointing at Core now. The compass, the main arm of the compass is pointing directly at Core.
East sounds about right, but we need to cross the river first.
I mean,
We could take the bridge.
What are we gonna
I'm
do?
not interested in death.
Where is Ilya? I haven't seen him since this morning.
I'm here eating my rabbits.
Oh, there he is. Is this food happy?
Rabbits were happy 3 seconds before dying. For my opinion, we must not use road or bridge, but go across a river into forest. Technician robot, Vidar robot, can you become a robot boat?
Not right now.
Who are Technician and Vidar? Who are you referring to, Ilya?
Robots.
Do you mean Flesh Render and Meat Cleaver?
Phalanx. Phalanx.
Phalanx,
Shield.
that's it.
Shield. Phalanx.
Phalanx and who?
Flesh render, of course.
Flesh render. And you, lizard man, Larry.
Yeah, Larry. Larry the Lorzvek.
Honorable Larry. A snake, what is your name?
Hasn't changed.
Ah.
She sort of like looks at Elia and just kind of like puts her head in her chin and goes, technically, I'm not a terrorist. I disassociate with them, so I don't really need to change my name quite yet.
So these are terrorists.
What? No.
Depends on who you talk to.
No. No. I am a shield bearer. Obviously.
Is there
Look at
anybody
my
near
shield.
us, to be clear?
You guys have
Sounded like we were like on a camp on the outskirts. Sorry.
You guys have sort of moved toward, I would assume that you're moving toward the boats, like the sort of ferrymen that move back and forth between the river. You've started moving that way. There are people, but they are very much on a mission to get where they need to go to work for the day. They are not paying attention to you at all. These people do not, none of them are inquisitors, and they don't really care. A lot of them aren't even wearing Artstat-like colors. Because, you know, the people of Artstat are very, for lack of a better term, nationalistic. Patriotic. They're very patriotic.
I can smell inquisitors, right?
Yes.
Like if there was an inquisitor nearby, I would know.
You would know immediately.
So
we're fine.
I have one more question about the dam. Is that funded with public money? Like it's a public infrastructure project, right?
No.
It is not. So everybody pitched in. Is it socialized?
No.
Okay. So they're not National Socialists. Got it.
They are not National Socialists. No.
Oh God.
You can actually make a history check for me, Rep. I know you're trying to make a joke here. You are making a joke, but I would be curious to see if you happen to know. Why is this muted forever? Why is there no sound coming from this one? You actually would know that the king pays for all infrastructure projects out of pocket, because taxes are paid to him, and he funds infrastructure projects for Artstat specifically. And you're realizing now that that's blood money. What is the money that paid for this dam at this point is blood money because of the Inquisition.
Okay, so straight monarchy, and at this point, Inquisition and war profits are actually paying for public projects.
Yep.
Got it.
That's
Okay,
the only
that makes
reason
sense.
that they could afford that much temper is if someone donated or he got a bunch of money for killing a person, or it has to be Inquisition related in order to afford a project like this big in Artstat. And you can also assume that this is not the only one that they're building. And we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gold at this point. Because just the amount of temper you can see on those blocks is probably between 500 and 600 pounds.
Got it. Okay. So we're still heading for the ferryman,
Yep.
right? Okay.
And as you guys make it over to the ferry, they're about right in the middle. They've timed themselves to be right. Basically, they cross each other right in the middle because the bridge itself is only about 12 feet wide, and they just basically nod at each other as they go by. So they're about 15 minutes out from coming to you guys right now.
It's fine.
Or is there anything that you're going to be doing for 15 minutes, or are you just waiting? What are you doing?
Flipping a copper coin a bunch of times.
Tails. 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 Why is it never fucking Tails?
Ilya, will you make a perception?
The great mystery.
Will you make a perception check at advantage for me, please?
Can I make a
Ooh.
sleight of hand and see if I'm fucking with them?
Oh, what?
Clip it, everybody clip
Please,
it. Clip it. I
somebody
want to see
clip
15
that.
clips.
Please clip
There's-
that.
There's the bad luck for the session gun.
That's starting off strong, my dude.
Well,
That was
Somebody dies this episode.
okay. So you remember how?
So
Remember how I just added your ability to reroll perception checks?
oh
You
yeah.
remember that? Like I literally did that. How? Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So what is the chances of that happening right after I add that ability to his character sheet?
enough to
I
happen.
don't know. That's wild,
That's
actually.
astronomical, right?
So do I reroll one of them?
You just roll one dice. Just roll one
One
dice.
normal.
Yeah. It just lets you
I
add
mean-
one.
I mean, that's
The
better than
chances-
one.
The chances of it happening in the first place are 1 in 400.
Yeah. Okay. So you.
Oh, it's it's because Spooky gifted me a sub and jinxed me. Thank you, but fuck you. Double ones.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Oh.
The amount of luck, or in this case, bad luck on this campaign. So it's gotten so bad, I actually looked into buying an RNG.org API. It'd only be $12 a month to pay for that for our server, because it's actually we don't ping it that much. Like, it's not requested that often that it would only be like $12 a month to do that. So because we don't have to do with gambling, and up to 500 requests is only $12. So yeah, just I looked into it because it's insane. It's absolutely
We
insane.
could just build you a better one. That's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a shame you don't know like some really good
Yeah,
programmers who
but you two
dabble
you
in
two-
Zorgen.
you two are already
know?
building something.
3 of
else.
us. There's a third, 4 of us on the is the thing.
Man, you are already building something awesome for all the stuff we're doing
Right.
anyway. So I'm not.
Well, who's the fourth one?
Snack writes the code, right?
What?
That's a yes.
What?
What?
Yeah.
I don't actually hear the question.
That doesn't say who the fourth one is.
What? I missed some
It's obviously
context.
Gareth.
But Ilya, as you're sort of sitting there, you catch a whiff of the Inquisitor smell. I think I described it as like patchouli on a corpse or
Spoiled?
something.
Yeah, like spoiled patchouli, right?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Rancid?
Yes,
I
rancid.
can't remember the adjective you used, but it was something along those lines.
But you smell that coming from the opposite direction, toward the other side of the river.
Wait, like where we're heading?
Yes.
So we're waiting for the raft to come across, and I can smell across the river to where we're meant to go the smell of Inquisitor.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, jeez. We may have a problem. Inquisitors are across the river.
Rip Rap is going to try to see an Inquisitor across the river.
The river's a mile wide, right?
It is a mile wide, and they're halfway, so you're looking about a half mile out right now. As you see it, you can see the guys pulling the boat. You see 2 men dressed in black, basically black leather trench coats with. They sort of have, for lack of a better term and a better description, they look like the first bad guy in New World. They have that the mask with the Spanish conquistador helmet, but they're dressed in black trench coats, and the helmet itself is made of bronze. And they're just sort of standing there with oversized weaponry.
Perfect.
One of them has a 2-handed flail that's on his back, and the other one has a great longbow.
And they're heading towards us, or they're going across the river the
They're
same way
coming
we're
towards
going?
you.
Okay. 2 Inquisitors, oversized weaponry, heading towards us.
We should probably get a move on. Perhaps we go south and hang out by the river, wait for them to do their business, and see if we can get back on a boat. If not, we can look over to the bridge. We can walk across that thing.
Yeah, what are those are our options, right? We go on the ferry or we go across the small shitty bridge.
Yeah.
Is there an option to just like bomb it south to where the river forks and like could we find a boat there or swim or like follow the current down to Rolong?
Give me 1 second here.
Ilya, does your Drake fly?
Yes, but can't carry everybody.
One at a time, maybe.
Sure.
You cannot.
But not the robots.
If you're,
How big are the robots?
If
How big are the...
Remember, you can't ride it while you're flying until you hit 15. That's actually part of the rules.
Oh, I can't?
No, it cannot fly until you hit 15 if you're riding it. That's actually part of the rules.
Then you have to buy a license from Stormwind. It's a whole thing.
God damn it.
No, because it becomes a large Drake when he hits 15, so therefore it can carry a small person while flying. It actually mechanically
I see.
just works that way.
So I can only ride it with just running.
If it's running, you can ride it, yes. But you cannot run it
Gotcha.
you cannot ride it while it's flying until you hit 15. That's one of the Drake words.
Ilya, can your Drake swim?
No.
We can hide.
I think our only option is small bridge in south. Quickly follow me.
No, we can hide here. I can make an indetectable space in which we would climb a small rope, and we would be able to hide in that space. As long as we pull the rope in after us, they will not be able to find it.
You can do what?
So meta, a rope trick. You make a small pocket dimension, and the opening to the pocket dimension is only perceivable if you sort of know how to look at it with the angle. But you pull the rope in after you, and basically it's inaccessible. It's large enough to hold 8 medium-sized creatures, I think.
Yes, 8 medium-sized creatures.
8 medium-sized creatures. So, yeah.
Then I don't cast Pass Without Trace.
I mean, they can still detect us, but I'm just saying it would keep us out of sight. So if we just like walk around the corner to a bush and then do rope trick behind the bush,
and you could stay in there for 3 hours or an hour or something like that.
I think indefinitely. Give me a second.
I think it says that you can sustain a certain amount of people for a certain amount of time. I think there's a limit to it. I think.
No, it's just the duration, which is 1 hour.
Okay, so you can stay in there for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I know there's a limit on it.
I've
I
never
just
seen
didn't
this
know.
before. And how will we know when the Inquisitors have passed?
Well, the outside does not close. We can still hear and or see them if we chose to.
Or smell.
Or smell.
Sure.
I would recommend it. All right, so Rep Rap is just going to sort of like find a relatively, I don't know, probably about waist high bush.
Okay.
And about chest level is where we want to do the rope trick.
Okay. So just enough that the rope is in the bush. Right.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. So the opening is basically hidden, and instead of climbing the rope, everybody just has to like sort of like duck down a bit and then pull themselves up into the hole.
Okay. That works. Yeah, so he casts rope trick. The rope comes down and you guys can actually see sort of inside the hole. Does everyone go in?
Yep.
Follow me. It is safe. And then up into the hole.
Okay.
I assume everybody goes in.
Yep.
You get inside, and if you read the spell, you can look outside. You can actually see. You can perceive everything outside of the rope trick, and then all of you are sort of squished together in this small space. Are gonna
I
stand
like
there.
the required
Drake.
materials: powdered corn extract and a twisted loop of parchment.
Where the fuck did the corn extract come from? Like, who decided?
From corn.
Like, who is? I mean, like meta wise, like who in the DM book was like, we need to figure out something for this spell. Powdered corn.
Like, I have neutered
I'm-
so passe. Let's go with powdered corn extract.
You know what?
instead.
I'm going to explain this in character because this actually has a very logical explanation to it.
Okay.
When you use rope trick, the rope must descend directly up. The only way to do this is to make the rope stiff temporarily. Therefore, you must starch the rope, and in order to starch the rope, you use powdered corn extract.
Huh.
I guess it would be a sort of like ingredient that is so outside the normal for people to use on almost anything else. Yeah, makes sense.
Cooking, laundry, probably.
Making non-Newtonian liquids or whatever the fuck they are.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how artificers get their hands on it. Sure, yeah.
So yeah, you're inside this little space watching, and the smell gets really, really pungent. As you see the Inquisitors get off and they sort of look around. Everyone make a perception check. See if you see them. Because the bridge itself has like a large stone foundation. Man, Ilya, just bringing up the rear, man.
I mean, like, what can I do?
Vidar.
You still technically rolled better than me.
Vidar, Technician, and Lorshik. The three of you see them get off, and they just sort of look around, and you can see that their eyes actually glow red under their helmets as they're like looking, and they look sort of towards you, the bush, and then they start heading north toward the dam. They actually go back to the road, and they start going away, and the smell begins to dissipate. Literally about an hour later, you basically can't smell them anymore as the rope trick disappears, and all of you land on your feet in front of the bush. Yeah, what are you guys doing?
We should cross now. Since they are on this side, we should be on the other side.
Indeed, over the river and through the woods.
Indeed. Ferryman.
Aye.
Ferryman.
Aye.
5 to cross. And a Drake.
Does my Drake get unsummoned when I sleep?
No, no. It's not.
Okay.
It's until you dismiss it, I think.
Sure. Just wondering if I had to like resummon it when I woke up.
No.
Drake, this isn't working out. We really need better performance out of you, and unfortunately, we've done everything we can on this, so we're going to have to let you go. You're dismissed. 5 and 1 Drake. What is the price?
What are you talking about? There's no price. We take you across. This is
I misspoke. What is the
This-
suggested tip?
whatever you can afford.
Thank you, everyone. To the ferry.
To the ferry we go.
Okay, you get on the ferry, and the guys start hauling you across. Yeah, and you make it across the water uneventfully. The water on this side of the river is actually incredibly calm. It's very slow moving. From what you can tell, it pushes a little bit of pressure on the boat. As the course of the river, you can see as you get closer to the forest side that there's a bunch, like literally dozens of little streams that come from the mountains and feed this river. And the second that it changes is a lot farther south, but you can actually see where it goes from coming towards you, pushing you toward the bridge, to moving the opposite direction toward the south. And you get across, and you're basically right in front of this massive ancient oak forest When I say ancient oaks, I'm talking like these oak trees appear to be so old that they appear to be a different species of oak trees that you're used to. These are between 200 and 300 feet tall, and the widest ones are between 40 and 50 feet wide. So they're huge. These trees are massive.
Reprep's going to give the ferryman 2 golds.
And they look at you and their eyes go wide, like that is an unexpectedly huge amount of money.
And you understand, we did not cross the river.
Who?
Precisely.
They just all nod at you and just nod, and then they just sit there for a second, look around. There's nobody, and they just start going back.
Are there any like to their oak trees? Are there any like saplings, seeds, anything of that nature that we can collect
Go and make a nature check for
of
me,
these
please.
ancient trees?
You have no idea what even they look like.
I wonder if Roots has seen these trees before. He might be very interested in them.
He's Roots. It would stand to reason he's seen every tree ever.
Maybe.
We should remember these and also the walking willows and mention them to him next time we're in the crag.
Laura, should we make a perception check for me, please?
That tipped off that one.
Anybody else, if you would like to make a perception check, you can.
Well, now I'm out of the city. It would make sense I don't roll a 1 anymore, and I get a nat 20 or some shit. Or never mind.
Vidar, you sort of hear for a moment. You hear a like a thing above you. You look up, and a basketball-sized acorn is about to fall on the Wereshik. What do you do?
I'm just going to yell, Lorishik, watch out. I found one of your acorns.
Loreshik, we make a dexterity saving throw. Except, are you in heavy armor right now?
Sure am.
Will you make a normal dexterity saving throw, please? It would be... Oh. Are you going to cross and grits it, or are you going to leave it?
Yeah, I'll cross and grits it. Why not?
Okay.
I'll use Will the Old King.
There's no Will of the Old King here anymore. Oh.
Oh, God. Hold on. I am going to use Ferald's ability.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Counted. There we go.
Anything else that you would like to try?
I have nothing else to try.
Is anyone a bard?
Wait, hold on.
No, right?
I do. Don't I? I have
Officially, no, but I have been known to cast Vicious Mockery by accident. So
I grab my shield and put it over my head.
All right. So let me go and roll damage. You take 57 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
Will you make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
What the fuck was this acorn?
Big.
Oh. The DC has been 15. Loreshik gets knocked out immediately. Like, the shield, he holds a shield, and the shield just smacks you right in the head, and you just...
I assume that we saw Loershik fail his perception or nature or whatever when he was looking for the acorns in the first place.
Yeah.
Lorechik, I have found a seed. Look, Lorechik.
Loreshik is...
Lorechik. He is uninterested. Huh.
Actually,
Vidar's actually gonna walk up to him and,
are
shake
you-
him a little bit.
are you using the shrapnel shield, Lorishik? I assume that he is.
Correct. Yes.
Make another Constitution saving throw for me, please. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, Lorishik has been knocked unconscious by this gigantic falling acorn, hitting him right in the face.
It appears we will have to carry him.
That was
Of
once
course.
the acorn. She's gonna go over to it and look at it.
Uh,
How big is this acorn?
it's a basketball size, so it's like really big.
Can I keep the acorn?
What's your lifting? What is your weight limit?
Strength of 14, isn't it? 20 times that number,
It's
so
15 times
280.
15 times whatever. it is.
15 times. 150. 210.
310,
210.
210, and what's your current weight that you have right now?
Half that.
You're half that, you would be over capacity if you were to hold it up.
Alright. She will look at the acorn sadly, and then look at everyone else and go, alright. Who's carrying him? I can't.
In full plate armor, that's a little bit. That is a bit heavy. Ilya, can the Drake carry him?
Arthur, come.
He scampers over.
All right. I have the feet. Somebody get the other end.
Oh, and also his disguise drops.
When he's up on top of the Drake, I'm gonna throw my cloak of elven kind over him,
Okay.
cover him with it.
Okay.
I was gonna say he's in full plate mail, so I'm not sure it matters.
Oh no, it's just to hide what he looks like, not the sound of him existing.
Right, fair enough.
The sound of him existing is not something you'll be able to cover up.
No, I meant he's in full plate mail. Even if his disguise drops, he's just looks like a person in female plate mail.
Oh, that's true. Except he does have a tail
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
that
Okay,
would not
all
be
right.
covered in plate.
Okay, fair enough. And yeah, Rep is just going to take the rope and start lashing Lorchick to the Drake.
Ilya, what?
Where are we? We're like above the T of Enigma.
You are on this side of the river, basically at the crest of the skull. You're basically right across the river on this bank, sort of. Because the trees go right up to the bank, and then there's like small streams that go between the trees. They've sort of dug out some of the large roots that go underneath and stuff.
Okay. Are there any? I want to take a sense of like the surroundings. Are there any like small paths or dream lines, whatever, like areas that are noticeably used by animals or people to pass through the forest?
Make me a survival check, please.
Like not a trail, but
What are your
Oh, that's a good question.
what are
Yeah,
your
I'm looking.
preferred nature things? So that's still an incredible roll.
Forest, mountain, Arctic.
Okay, so I'll give that to you advantage. Roll another one, and we'll see if it gets any better. I don't know if you
Cool.
you only have 2 that are better than that, but okay, it's still just as good. Animals, yes. Normal animals, no. People, no.
What do you mean by normal animals?
Normal-sized animals, no.
So larger than.
Yeah,
How larger than?
exponentially.
I would like to go and analyze one of these trails.
Not multiplicatively, exponentially.
I have a question.
As in, I could be standing in a footprint right now and not realize it, kind of
Yes.
thing.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Can these acorns count as a projectile?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can try.
No freaking way.
Hang
Are
on,
you
hang
making-
on,
are you
hang on.
making-
That's
are you
not how
making
it works,
trebuchet?
by the way.
Is there an acorn trebuchet coming?
I will
Ed-
say. Okay, here's what I'll say. I would say that it would be considered ammunition if it is a weapon that you could reasonably wield yourself.
A giant spring-loaded crossbow?
No, it's way too big for that.
Aww.
If it was like a giant slingshot or something, or like an actual catapult or something, I would say yes. It would
So
have to,
Angry Birds.
it would have
Eventually,
to,
that acorn will become a weapon because it will be planted and become a tree. And then once it becomes a tree, it will be chopped down. And then it will be turned into spears and everything else that runs the Archstat war machine. So technically, yes, an acorn is ammunition.
Or just drop more acorns.
Actually, realistically, it would be considered ordnance more than it would be considered ammunition
Yeah.
because it is way too big.
I just want the acorn.
If you had room in the bag of holding, I would say that you could take it with you.
Bag of holding is dispelled. Bag of holding is dispelled right now.
True. You don't
Yeah.
have one, so.
From my knowledge, what do I know any kind of animals of that size in this area? Like, could I?
Go and make a nature or history check. If you're looking for notable creature types or just creatures, like actual like legendary creatures, or are we talking notable creature types that would exist in a forest like this?
Notable creature types of that size.
Nature.
Like, okay.
I'll give you advantage on nature as well.
Nature advantage.
You've heard of variations of essentially what they call ratatask, that they are giant squirrels. And when I say giant squirrels, these would be like megafauna squirrels. You know, our squirrels are like yay big. If you were to exponentially increase them to large dog sized. So think of a squirrel that is as big to that acorn as a standard acorn would be to a regular squirrel.
Okay.
Just think of things in relative terms to how big they are relative to that acorn, and that's what we're talking about.
And that would make me not want to travel north, right?
At
Like
least
we would
not too deeply into the forest, because also with that size of a squirrel, what eats that size of a squirrel?
Oh, geez.
A badger, a really big one. Also a hungry dragonborn.
I think it's time for Pass Without Trace and we keep going.
And there is also rumored that there is a specific set of beavers that also mess with these trees as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, beavers are pretty cool. I guess.
Until they're not.
When are beavers not cool?
When they're carnivorous.
When they build a dam that competes with the one in Inamont. Competing
No,
dams.
that one's based.
Dueling dam joes. That was a stretch. I apologize.
Yeah.
That was a
You
little
tried.
that was a little stretch there, but I appreciate the effort. Enough that it's sort of
Well-
an engineering joke as well.
We must not go too far north into the forest.
Why not?
Squirrels. Go on.
I hate
Like
the
squirrels.
I hate the way in Love your character explains things.
No.
Rab is squirrels?
Bigger.
But I was
Oh.
going to look up to where the acorn fell from and see if there's any signs of anything up there.
Go and make a perception check for me, please. Even at a 4, he gets a 15. Sorry, the plus
Plus
11
11.
perception is actually insane. You look up there, and there's a nest in the tree.
Like, bird?
Yeah,
Define.
a bird's nest. Yes.
But like
Birds, you know,
bird,
flap, flap, tweet, tweet.
Bird?
No.
bird.
Like
bird.
scale it up, bird.
Oh
Like
god.
the smallest
Or
bird that
megafauna.
would exist in this forest would be a rock. would be the smallest bird in this forest, probably.
Who the fuck gave this entire forest steroids?
I did.
In this forest, we are vermin. Stay
Everything-
quiet.
Everything is much bigger here. This must be the forest of Tahas.
It's the forest, so let's get the fuck out of here.
Indeed, if there are squirrels nearby, we should keep moving.
I agree with Snake Lady.
We might need a bigger boat.
Oh God.
Just start going.
Oh my gosh. Is there a way I could give you anti-inspiration? Can I just like?
Rocks fall, everybody dies. I'm pretty sure that's your recourse here. So.
Yeah.
Man, I might have to make a bad joke counter for technician like we had for the like we had for purge. Because man, as of recently, all of us are running that bad joke train. Man, all of us are doing it. I literally took an entire episode the other day to make one horrible joke. All right, so you guys moving east? Are you moving along the road? What are you doing?
I kind of want to go parallel to the road through the outskirts of the forest to these kind of foothills at the bottom, because I'm guessing the mountains are going to be close to impassable, especially if we're carrying Lower Chick. And we have a Drake and 2 Warforged.
The mountains would be rough.
Yeah.
It would be real rough.
So just like parallel to the foothills where my cursor is now,
Yes.
and then and then decide where to go after, I guess.
Sure. And you're specifically saying out of the forest, right?
Like going through the forest parallel to the road, then out of the forest. Into the
Okay, so you
foothills.
are going a little bit into the forest, but
Yeah.
not enough to be deep in the forest, you know?
Always keeping the
Right.
road in sight.
Yeah. See the road, but be in the forest. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfectly fair. Are you guys traveling stealthily, or are you traveling at? Well, actually, no. With a ranger, you can all travel stealthily at normal pace.
Pass with that trace, please.
Do I need to?
Please.
Well, keep in mind that
So-
with the map scale, this is you're going to be spending a whole day in the forest, and you won't get out of the forest until nighttime.
Okay, then I may as well just cast it.
Hey, all of us are better at looking at acorns, except for Elia, because apparently you can't make perception checks.
I just can't see anything.
No. We have
Smell,
two
yes?
people.
Vision and sound, no. Okay, pass without trace.
Just
Does it matter
sniff
what
the
level
acorn.
Does it matter what level I cast it at?
I don't think there's no upcast on that.
I think the duration is an hour, so
Okay.
there are no upcastings
Because it says I can cast it at level 3, but I don't know why.
because
I think
you
that's a
don't-
general
because,
check it.
Well, you don't get access to level 2 spells until level 3 as a ranger.
Well, there's no upcast or pass without trace is the thing as
no,
well.
there's not.
You can use the higher level spell slot, but it's not going to do anything special.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's-
see.
It doesn't gain
It's just
anything
a
for
slot
being
thing.
cast at higher level slots. That'd be true. One thing I will say from a GM perspective is you could also basically keep your heads on a swivel, and if you hear something, you can cast Pass Without Trace and then maintain it for an hour after that if you would like. That would be something I'd be willing to let you do, and then we can test to see. Basically, I'm going to do a high or low for each quarter of the day that you guys pass. And
That sounds good.
And then if you have to, cast Pass Without Trace, everyone stealths, and then you move past that. Because,
Yeah.
let's be real, if something sees you in this forest, it's going to be a really bad time. It really doesn't matter what it is. If it's carnivorous, that is. So what we'll do is we'll start at the top. Let's go ahead and do Ilya. High or low?
Hi.
Okay, roll it. You already know how this works.
That's
That's
high.
not a 1.
Hacks. Hacks.
What's your passive perception? What's everyone's passive perceptions, by the way? It's
Oh,
whatever
God.
your perception is, plus 10.
Who picked alert? Oh god, none of you.
Observant is
15.
the one that you're looking for, Sabas. Observant.
21.
Oh, right.
20.
enough.
Oh, yeah, you have 11 perception. Okay.
16.
And Lamau. I'm not a very wise snake.
Oh yeah, you have no
Vidar
perception.
is Vidar is doing the eyes for me right now.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll a stealth. And you said 21, Vidar, is the highest out of everybody.
For perception.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Who? Okay. No freaking way, dude.
All right, you got a 22.
No, actually. I just rolled 2 nat 20s
Lamau.
on an advantage check. I'm not even kidding. So, that being said, since it's above your passive perception, I will give everyone I will give Ilya the choice between perception or survival. You get advantage on survival because you're in a forest. Because you can do tracks. There's lots of ranger things that you can do. I'll give you a choice between survival and perception. And then for everyone else, you can roll 1 perception check.
I'm also technically a survivalist, if that makes sense, if that helps.
The problem is he has ranger mechanics that let him do this.
That's fair.
He's a ranger. Oh.
I don't think I can physically roll as high as you're looking for. Yeah, no. I don't think I can roll as high as anyone was looking for.
Zabas is still on about that fucking acorn.
Oh yeah, she's sad.
Well, no, the best part is like literally as you're walking, you see hundreds of them. So they're literally everywhere.
What's the little squirrel guy from Ice Age called? Is it Sprat?
Oh.
I think so. Yeah.
So now
He
it's just
got the
Sprat.
acorn.
This week.
It's just Spratus chasing this acorn for the rest of the fucking episode.
SCRAT.
Yeah, actually-
Scrat. Yeah,
He
that's it.
actually got the acorn. They released a little animation of him getting the
Yeah.
acorn right
Because
finally.
they disbanded the studio.
It's so cute.
It's so adorable. Ilya, you do have 1 charge, 2 charges left on your reroll of perception if you'd like to try it.
Can I use
That
one of
was
my psychic dice
survival.
to up it?
Say what?
So can I use my psychic dice to up it?
To up yours? Or someone
yeah,
else's?
Do I need to?
Up yours.
Yeah, make 7 up yours.
I
I can roll a 1d8 to add on to my rolls
Sure.
if they don't succeed.
Then I will say yes.
Nice.
So I rolled a 28.
Okay, you absolutely needed that. You sit there for a second, and everything gets really quiet. Normally, there's like birds and fluttering wings and squirrels running everywhere, like the variations of that. You turn to your left and you look up the hill because there's a very steep incline that goes all the way up. And you look up to your left, and you see about a dozen eyes looking at you from the sort of shade. And around those outlines, you see, like, at the shoulders, about 6 wolves staring at you. At the shoulders, they stand about 28 feet tall.
And they've already seen us because they're staring at us?
Mm-hmm.
That make it too late to stealth?
They don't appear to be aggressive. They're in a sort of, you can almost see, like, with your 28, you can see behind them that they have cubs with them, and they're in a protective circle. They don't appear to be trying to kill you. They just appear to be in a defensive formation.
And that's not in the direction that we're going necessarily, right?
No. They're up the hill, not, you guys are sort of heading down in elevation.
I'm going to point it out and be like, there are things over there watching us. And we should be careful in the future to not wander into them.
What's my knowledge of wolves like? Can I?
Animal handling.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a sec.
It would actually be animal handling. Animal handling covers all animal stuff. So,
Okay. Well, I'm looking in particular for sounds and calls and howls and stuff. That'll do.
you can. What are you trying to? Are you trying to call to them to be friendly, or what are you trying to do exactly?
Yeah. Just like I am no threat.
It would be something that you know that if all of you sort of stop moving and then sort of like bow to them, because you know how dogs lay down when they're submissive, and like we're not a threat is sort of like get down, make yourselves small, and they'll just go. They should just go away, usually.
Everybody, down on your knees. Bow to them like they are kings.
Rep is going to do that, but on his way down, he's going to grab the bag of bran flakes off of Loreshik's lifeless, passed out body.
Does he have another one?
No, he only. Oh, he gave that
He
to
gave
you.
it to me.
That's my bad. Never mind. So yeah, the it's not down dog, just like become a robot ball.
Sabas will bow.
No, he said they're up the hill, Day Day. They're up dog.
Up dog. Yes.
What's up, dog?
I am in pain.
Man, I'm actually during the break I'm gonna add a bad jokes counter, and when it gets to 10,
Ha,
we get
ha.
one roll reroll as a group maybe.
Joke complete.
So they react positively to our bowing?
Yes, they sort of sit there, like in their posture, and then they look confused, and then they start walking up the hill away from you guys, with the larger ones at the back, looking back at you every once in a while as they go away. And you guys have moved a little bit of the way down. Okay.
And I'll stand back up and continue strolling through the
And
forest.
Follow on the forest stroll.
Do any of you speak Elvish?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Apparently. Let me
Sure.
double check that. I don't know why I speak Elvish.
I think you
That
do.
seems weird to me.
You might.
Oh man, if only Loreshik was awake. He speaks choose a language.
Really?
Yeah, it's a long running joke. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's a bug on his character sheet that literally perpetually has choose a language on his character sheet. We don't know why.
Wait, really?
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Very good.
Literally,
I didn't even know that.
On his character sheet, all of his languages are chosen, but one of them is labeled as choose a language. Oh no, you speak so many languages, dude.
I don't know. I don't think I should.
No, you do. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, you should.
What's your background? Like mechanical wise backgrounds? Don't start reading
the
out.
background.
So
Outlander?
Outlander. I
Ilya's
speak
background is for
Dwarvish.
Ilya to know.
I think Outlander has like a couple of languages.
As one
I should
language.
speak Dwarvish, Giant, Common. Did it come from race?
What? Two of them are from race.
Two of them from race. Origin languages, Common and Gnomish. So Common,
no,
Gnomish.
your hunted people, your favorite enemy, you also get 2 languages from. Yeah, you get so many languages as a ranger, it's insane. That's right, because you get one favorite enemy language per favorite enemy, which you have 2 of right now.
many.
And then you get 2 from your background, then you get 2 from being a
And Draconic
dragon.
from Draconic Gift, yeah.
Yeah, literally, you get so many languages. But you remember, Ilya, that this forest is, in Elvish, the Forest of Monsters. Because this is
Okay.
basically one of the only places in the world that giant creatures exist naturally. in their own little ecosystem within it, because there's so much water, so many factors come into it, and the trees that are so big that they can house these giant creatures and things like that. But they call this the Forest of Monsters, but it's in Elvish, and I don't really have a good translation to it because, to be honest with you, the French translation is kind of boring. Let's be real.
Why? What's the French translation?
Monstre géant. It literally is almost
A giant monster.
Giant monster, essentially. So, yeah. But yeah, you make it a quarter of the way through the forest. Let's go ahead and do a Sabbath, high or low.
It was the opposite of what I want to roll, so low.
Okay,
Told you.
fair enough. Yeah, you pass uneventfully through this part of the forest. Let's do technician.
Hi.
Okay, go and roll it for me. Not quite high enough. Nothing happens. Vidar.
I'm gonna say low.
Okay. Okay. You make it through the rest of it completely uneventfully. Every once in a while you hear a twig or a branch break or something, but it doesn't appear to be any animals. None of them are coming for you. None of them are... Every once in a while you'll see a pair of eyes. You're not really sure. You'll see a thing scurry across the trees, that kind of thing. Scurry across the ground. But nothing appears to be that bad. You guys make it out of the forest into like a valley that heads straight, almost a fair degree downward, and then on to the right you could see just a little bit of the river city of Roulon. If you guys keep traveling, you'll be traveling during the night. Over the road, you'll get to Roulon about midnight. From where you currently are, it's probably sitting about 7 or 8 p.m. The sun has already set because the mountains near Castrada are some of the highest in the world. And the sun has already set. What are you guys doing?
Ilya, you are the most familiar with this area. If we go to Roulon, are we going to wind up in more danger, or are we better off camping?
Core is like the capital city, right? Where the
It is.
nobility and shit. So this is going to have the highest concentration of like inquisitors and all that stuff. Assuming, right?
Yes.
We must live here, low profile. No roads, no lights. Who has the compass now as well? Is that still on-
Luarshik still has it,
does
yeah.
have it,
Yeah.
but it's a place that you could pick it up and look if you needed to.
Bring compass.
Rep will grab it and bring it over to Ilya.
Where's it pointing?
Directly at Core.
Core seems to be the direction we need to go. As we get closer, we have a different implement to zero in on a person.
How do you do this?
How?
How?
A divining rod.
Divining rod.
Yes, and Rep is going to take the divining rod python out and
Okay.
show it to Ilya. It's probably not glowing at all because we're nowhere near. We're
No.
not near enough anybody. But
Not
yeah.
at all. But it's like,
So to you, it basically just looks like a railroad spike.
it looks like a railroad spike with a bunch of runes carved into it. And
This is like a piece. It's a piece of wood with writing on it.
No, it's a piece of metal.
No, it's metal.
Piece of metal, I
It's
see.
a giant nail with runes carved into it that have been tempered as well. Just
Okay.
it just looks dirty though, for the most part.
Okay. I'm just thinking like how to get in there. If we don't want to use roads. So where are we? We're the foothills looking down into the valley.
Yep. And the valley, and you actually, from where you are, you're about, I want to say, 600 feet elevation comparatively to like the mountains above you are well over a mile high. And they do a very steep slope going up that direction. As you're looking down, you're about 600 feet above Core, and you can actually see basically all of the city. And all the city of Core is massive. And when I say massive, it takes up the entire valley all the way up, butting up into the mountains and into that forest on the other side. A lot of it is walled, but there's a lot of it on the inside. It has like a large keep in the middle, and then there's another wall, and then outside of that, there's a sprawling sort of urban area that's all paved, and it has you can see a bunch of like bell towers and scout towers and things all over the place, and it looks very, very wealthy comparatively to the areas that you're used to seeing, which are very nature driven. This is probably one of the most urban areas any of you have ever seen. Comparatively to Nilhund would be like the peak of that, but for the modern world, Nilhund or Core is one of the like most civilized places that anyone can go to, pretty much.
Classist.
Well, considering y'all are
How-
like warband associated, civilized is like a term that you'd be used to.
How far away are like in terms of hours? How far away are we from Core?
If you were to travel the whole way, it would probably take you 8 to 10 hours to get there.
We have found it is usually best to improvise. We have had pretty good luck going directly through the front gate.
There will be many inquisitors here. Can
Perhaps
you
when we get
improvise
close,
your way past them?
Rep is just going to do a little jig. Perhaps.
This is dancing.
I suggest that as we get closer, we scout and try to find a different way into the city then. I would suggest we scout tonight, but by the time the scout was to return, it would be 2 days from now.
Would it make most sense to rest here and make more plans in the morning?
Are there any caves or anything here?
Go make a survival check to see if you can find any. Yeah, there's a bunch of caves. Now that you're out of the forest of monsters, the caves are probably a lot less hazardous, considering we're going into the winter phase. So even like bears and stuff are starting to become more lethargic and move into a different form of aggression. And
Okay, I would like to find a
Go ahead.
like to find a cave without a giant monstrosity bear squirrel hibernating inside.
Okay.
If we are to camp, we must hide.
A cave does provide adequate protection. I can lay a snare in front of the cave so that nothing may enter.
This is good idea, and we will hear it.
Given the Wereshik state, it's inevitable that we must rest before reaching the city. So, we might as well rest now.
Yeah. You're able to find a cave that does not, it definitely has no signs of creatures going in and out of it. It appears to be natural. And yeah, you guys are able to rest for the entire evening. You get in there. You're going to put a snare on the outside? Okay, cool.
Yeah, just at the entrance, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy. You set up your snare. All of you get ready for bed. It doesn't get super cold. It gets a little chilly, but realistically, you could get far enough that you could actually use Sabas's heat rock to keep everyone warm without actually generating a fire and stuff like that.
I don't have a heat rock.
Is it there? Oh yeah, it doesn't generate heat, does it? It just generates light. That's right.
No, I have a light rock and a ring that lets me not freeze to death.
That's right. But all of you are resistant to cold anyway, because you have yours, and then Ilya could probably figure.
70% of my body is heatsink.
Fair enough. And with that, we're gonna go on our 15-minute break. So yeah, we will see you in 15 minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to the Legendary Tales. We see the forehead of Sabas. That's cool.
I am cat here. Listen, you're gonna have to convince me real hard to sit up straight because this is very comfortable.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. Soon. Soon.
I don't like that language. I'm sitting up.
You guys make it through the night. Your snare never even goes off. Nothing even approaches your cave. As you get to, you guys awaken early the next morning. The sun is just rising because you go to bed fairly early. Being in the forest of monsters was probably very exhausting for all of you because you had to keep your head on a swivel and make sure you're not get attacked by things. Yeah, so you're looking down on the valley where Kor is. You see a little bit of Rulon to your right as you're looking south onto the road. What are you guys doing? And Loreship will be back soon.
Rep is going to look around on the cave floor for a science stick and use it to poke Lorechik. Lorechik. He must be very exhausted from being knocked out all day. Lorechik.
No, I think he does not wake up because you do not use his full name.
Most honorable, venerable, arrogantable guy. Lorechik. Lorechik, poke. We're not poking with intent to damage. No 1d4 poke damage.
No, that's fair. Will all of you make a perception check for me, please?
Yeah.
Finally. And when it counts as well.
Ilya, you get up and you sort of sniff and you smell like a really faint Inquisitor smell. Combined with a hint of like cinnamon.
Cinnamon? Where have I smelled cinnamon before?
That's never really been notable. But it is a familiar scent to two people in this party.
It's a familiar scent to my my cousin who was in another adventurous band.
What is it?
Every tavern we went to in our campaign
fair.
smelled of cinnamon.
They all did, yeah. Well, cinnamon is a super common thing in Airshell. It's like their favorite seasoning because they produced it. You guys never really looked into that, but
Sad. I smell Inquisitor and smells like baking cookies.
Technician
Something.
and Vidar, will you make a history check for me, please?
Sorry, you said technician?
And Vidar, yes. Vidar, there is a very notable person who smelled like cinnamon in your past. Like the most notable person in your past who is from Artstadt.
Did Ferald smell like cinnamon? Was
No.
he from Artstadt?
No.
The voice of Gleam?
Nope.
I was looking through my notes for cinnamon-related stuff.
Yvonne smelled like cinnamon.
Is it possible that we are just close enough to the capital that there are plenty of bakeries that might have that smell? Ilya,
If you can
how
smell
fine is that
bakeries,
smelling?
if you can smell bakeries 8 hours away, I will be very impressed.
It does not smell like bakery as whole, but one piece of it. It is warm.
Can you smell how many?
Can I smell how many?
Well, 24. Probably it smells like 2 Inquisitors because it smells very similar to the ones you smelled yesterday.
Plus the cinnamon.
Yep.
So I smell like 3 people.
Yep.
Small group, less than 5.
Rip Rap is going to go back to poking Lorchik, but more earnestly. Lorchik,
Wake up,
Lorchik, 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 Lorchik.
Are they getting closer?
It does smell like they're coming in your direction, yes. But it doesn't smell like they're taking. It doesn't smell like they're running, and it does appear like the wind is coming from the east.
Surprisingly enough, if I don't have as nice of a sense of smell as you, if I vaguely remember, the other smells might be more dangerous than the Inquisitors. Who would travel with Inquisitors that doesn't smell like awful themselves?
Someone who takes great pride in their appearance and possibly prestidigitates themselves every morning. Oh. I seem to recall us working bodyguard duty for someone that would prestidigitate themselves every morning.
I know.
Called it.
Yeah, that was very much a part of his routine. Every morning was cleaning himself off and making sure he looked really nice. He smelled really nice.
Must we worry about this person?
I would say so. They are responsible for what happened at Nilhund. They have made my shenanigans with bombs look very tame.
Their actions are the reason that we have been framed as been declared terrorists.
Should we hide? We could also fight. There are technically 6 of us, even though one is asleep and latched to the other.
I thought run away.
Which direction are they coming from?
The southeast.
Southeast.
Can
So we have
VR
the-
kind of sneak to the edge of the cave and peek out without being noticed?
Oh yeah.
See if I
Oh
can see
yeah.
anything?
Oh yeah.
Or was that already my perception roll that I failed earlier?
No, your perception was like basically a feeling, but also going outside and looking. But now that Ilya has successfully smelled as part of it, if you go outside, you look down, you can see 3 people sort of like at the bottom of like, they're probably about an hour or 2 out right now, but you can see them at the bottom of the valley coming off the road right now. Or they're basically, if we're to zoom in into here, they're basically at the edge of the river right here, coming up toward this area. And they appear to have some sort of spell cast on them that they're running extremely quickly.
What would that path be like? Narrow, wide, winding, cliffy?
Elevation is like the biggest part of it, is they're having to sort of snake back and forth to get up to where you guys are, because you guys, I said, are like 800 feet in elevation above core. So that hill is sort of very, if they're trying to beeline to where you are, yeah, it'd be a big deal. And you know, technician, that however they located you has very specific requirements to be able to locate you to begin with. So they're basically like only a specific spell could do that, and you can't have 10 feet of running water between you and the target. Oh yeah, it's locate creature, and locate creature requires that you can't have running water between you and the creature, essentially.
Oh, we're being literally tracked.
Yep.
Fuck.
If we move to put the river between us and them, they will not be able to track us this way.
Well, one river's a mile wide. The only other option is we have is basically through them. So
Oh yeah, no, southeast. I was thinking southwest.
Wait, so, yeah. So what are our options? Can we head east and like go northeast towards the lake? So it's basically either go back the way we came
Go back the way you came.
or
Go
go to
deeper
Roulon.
into the mountains. Go to Roulon. Basically, go around the other direction or run the other way.
Hmm.
Or your
We can hide again.
your yeet stone has recharged.
yeah.
You hear my cat? There she is.
No, I just saw the cat and I just was excited because I like cats.
She always yells at me when she comes in from outside. So
Aw.
come here,
I believe
Conrad.
everybody is forgetting the. We could also fight.
We can do this.
I mean, we have how much setup time? About
About an hour.
About an hour.
We also have no idea how powerful Ivan has become since Nilhund.
But we
Okay.
also have the high ground.
well, okay. So we have a couple of grenades. We have the option of going into the forest, fighting there, and casting Earth Trem and having me cast Earth Tremor on the acorns, which is a hell of an attempt.
That feels quite literally like mass rocks fall and everybody dies. But you're not wrong.
I think it has a pretty limited AOE of like 15 feet, so it is somewhat. See what's the limits? I have to be in the ground.
We could get lucky.
So yeah,
This would go way better if we had a tank with us, but we could get lucky.
Yeah,
Maybe
10
everybody only rolls 20s.
10 feet, 10 feet AOE, ground. Yeah, I would assume that would shake the trees because if there's any ground in the area that's like loose earth, it becomes difficult terrain. Like it fucks everything up. So I would assume that would work somewhat. Um, but that's a hell of a yeet throw because if they have any passive perception, they'll notice what I'm doing. Or we could just book it along the bottom.
You'd have to make a survival check, and if Ilya would like to help you, you can get that at advantage. You're not really sure. The cave goes quite deep, but the smell becomes a lot more musty and um a lot more unfamiliar if you start going into the cave. What the heck just happened to my thing? Literally. You can try. Just remember, it's Yvonne plus Inquisitors that he knows personally. So. They all carry over. Well, Technician and Vidar and Loershik all know that they are all paladins. And they all carry oversized weapons. And their paladin skills can be used with ranged weapons. So they can smite. They can smite you with a bow that does 2d12 damage. So. Okay. You're walking deeper into the cave? Okay. Sure. Go ahead and make investigation. Yeah, investigation checks. Or nature. Nature. Let's say nature, because I think that would be... Okay, yeah. Just do nature, though, for thematic purposes. As you're walking through the caves are pretty much natural, and any weak points are sort of reinforced by very thick walls. You're not really sure what's on the other side or if it's more cave. The closest thing to a weak area that you can see is when you're passing through like a bunch of little like passages. One of them becomes very small to the point where all of you would have to squeeze through, and that it's sort of like a very small connector to a very large cavern on the other side. And you can actually hear running water on the other side of this very, very small hole in the cave wall. Go and make a perception check for me, please. You see, essentially, you squeeze through this small hole, and it appears to be made of sandstone or some other like weak stone. You squeeze through, and you look up, and it's just a massive cave that literally has a lake that's probably 300 feet by 300 feet, and it's actively like basically dripping from above. Like there's a waterfall that comes straight down into the middle, and then from that, this basically lake feeds a huge amount of. Yes. A 100 feet. This is a when I say massive cave, I'm talking huge, like really, really big. There is. All right. Sabas, you're already in there. You're gonna have to basically pull everyone through because everyone else is much broader than you are, because you're basically like a snake, so you can squeeze through small areas. So you're making the hole bigger for them to get through. Easy. Not an issue. You make the hole much larger. You make the hole much larger, and everyone gets through. All of you are going to have to swim to get to the other side. and we also have an unconscious Loershik on a Drake. So, unless one of you is going to carry Loershik across as you swim, what are you doing? I need to know. I'm gonna go down the list real quick. Ilya, what are you doing? And what is Artur doing? I would say that would require an athletics check for him to keep him above water. I'm checking. If he was conscious, he can hold his breath for 15 minutes, but he is not conscious. So he's unable to do that. Lizard folk are semi-aquatic. But unfortunately, he is not conscious. You can do what? Ritual is 10 minutes. Yep. Okay. It's a lizard. Lizards that big are very, very heavy. Probably like, I would probably say like 200 pounds probably. Oh, that's a good. Well over 400 pounds. Because he weighs. I mean he's his with his equipment he's currently sitting at 425 pounds. If you go under it, it's basically a huge aquifer, like a massive, just literally like a whole cauldron just full of water. Yes, basically you're on a giant sandbar that has been worn away. That's sandstone. It's turning into sand as the water basically comes into it. 300 feet. Mm-hmm. Temporarily. It was temporarily. Technically, no. Do you have a swim speed, Sabas? Yes. So every yeah, you're a humanoid. Um, half movement. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I just looked it up because I wasn't really sure, so I was making sure. Yep. How did the players get muted again? Nothing has changed. Oh, I fucking hope not. What? You're on the right device. Did I lose that sound altogether? What? Default, maybe? Maybe I need... Okay, I'm going to add a new audio output capture. Desktop. Okay, talk?
No.
Hello.
I will
Oh my
talk.
god, it's so loud. What? You were just... You're so... Okay.
I shall now perform the oldest joke in the world. Hark! Lookest thou over there? Ha! Madest thou look?
Apparently, my all audio sound device doesn't work at all anymore. It just stopped working. So, I fixed it.
Fascinating.
Okay. Essentially, we've been trying to figure out how they're gonna get Lower Shik from this side of the giant lake, underground lake, to the other side of the underground lake.
So anyways, we put a bunch of balloons on him, and then we put him on a rope, and we basically waterboard him the entire way. We can't get him to fly. We can probably keep him stable, right?
I mean, I can make him fly. There
Yeah,
are
I
two
think-
spells. One is levitate, that is to make things hover. The other is flight, but he's unconscious. That won't do very much.
Let's levitate him, and so he walks over to Artur, and Loarshik pulls out a piece of one of her 50-foot ropes and just ties it to whatever convenient part of Loarshik is tieable. I don't know, arm, leg,
The tail.
neck,
The
tail.
tail.
Yeah,
The tail.
tail.
Well, and the best part is Artur technically was a flight of 40 feet because of what he
Well,
is.
yeah. We also said Loarshik weighed like 425 pounds, which is
Yeah, but
no
if he's
no,
being
no
if
good.
he's being levitated, he doesn't weigh anything.
Oh, then this entire problem is okay. Yeah.
So then you
Just
could have
levitate the
Artur
fucking
fly
lizard.
across. You could have Artur fly across with him levitated, and that's literally the fastest way he can get across. Is literally that. So
yeah.
Okay, so unconscious person fails the DC 17 Constitution check, right?
Yep, automatically. Well, he
I mean,
can't.
Okay, so
he's not
Lorenchik now is weightless, but is still lashed to the Drake.
up to
Right.
500 pounds. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Savas is going to take a rope back and then kind of look at everyone, to do a little wave, and then just dive into the water and start fucking swimming.
Is everyone else swimming as well?
Yep.
I'm flying on a broom.
Oh,
And I think
I'll just
Technician.
walk across the bottom.
is
there,
anyone
I
else
guess
flying on?
that's-
You have 2 brooms, do you not?
Yeah, I was trying to tell
Welcome, Larry
Nation that
Drake.
he could use a broom, but
You just flew off on the broom. I was over here dealing with the lizard on a lizard.
Anyways, TLDR, we're being hunted. We're trying to cross. We went underground. and we found an underwater lake that we're trying to cross. And our method for that was keeping you tied up to Artor, the dragon, and levitating you so you weigh nothing, and now you're being flown across on a dragon underground in the dark. So have fun. Good morning.
And I'm unconscious, to be clear.
Yeah, you're still unconscious.
You're unconscious until DM says otherwise, basically.
Until we get back around to me poking you with a science stick.
Actually, this would be the absolutely perfect time for you to wake up.
I would.
Midair.
Midair. Okay, so let me
Flying.
let me paint the picture for you, Low Airshik. Okay, you got knocked unconscious by an acorn. The next thing you know, you stir yourself awake. Oh, you look up and you're looking at the ceiling of an enormous underground lake. In the very top of it, there's a large circle that has a huge waterfall of water coming down in it, and you're floating above the water with a rope attached to your waist. You look forward, and Artur, Ilia's drake, is dragging you across the top of the water. You're levitating above it. As you see Vidar and Ilia, you're on a broom, right? You're both on brooms.
I was gonna swim.
Are you giving a broom to Ilia, or are you just gonna?
I mentioned the brooms and held out the brooms, but I'm definitely riding one myself.
Okay.
Anyone was free to borrow one.
Ilia, would you have taken a broom?
How hard would it be for me to swim?
It's not particularly easy to swim as a whole, so
I'll take a broom then.
you take the broom, and Low Airshik, you sort of wake up and you're levitating, and you look to your left and you see Vidar. You look to your right and you see Ilia. Technician and Sabas are nowhere to be found.
What's going on?
We are flying.
Sabas is going to switch to a backstroke and sort of look at like, don't worry about it. Don't untie the rope, please. For the love of God, don't untie the rope.
How fast are we moving?
40 feet per turn, so about 12 feet a second.
And what does the water look like? Is it just like clear water?
Perfectly crystal clear. Well, it's not very light in here, but
I think it's dark abyss where you see a little robot walking underneath.
yeah, you can see the little lights of Technician's face under the water.
Got it. Okay. Is that tied to like my foot?
No, you are bound to the Drake's back. That was
Like
how we dealt
like-
with you being passed out. We put you on the horse and tied you to the horse.
Yeah.
Got it. So
You-
my
you were
arms are
lashed.
bound. My legs are
Lashed.
bound. I can't move.
We'll get you out. 1 minute.
Oh, okay. What happened? Why are we in a cave?
We'll catch you up in a second.
Yvonne.
Or that.
And then just keep flying.
How echoey is it in here?
Oh, the most echoey ever. Except the problem is it's so echoey that you can't really. The only reason you can hear each other is because you're close enough. But the falling water is like 80% of the sound in here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It takes you guys, I want to say, 100 feet at 15 feet per round. It takes you about a minute or two to get to the other side. Technician, you're probably a little bit slower because you have to go down and then up. Probably takes Technician about 3 or 4 minutes to get to the other side. The rest of you, it's about 2 minutes. Low Airshik is there way before anyone else is. Just like Artur is just like sort of shaking, like just looking at everybody like, what are you doing? Why do you take so long? Yeah, all of you make it to the other side. You make a perception check for me. Specifically, Ilia, please. The smells are very pungent.
They are close. Too close. Everybody quiet.
Should we hide? We should probably hide.
How do we hide?
In my hole.
I don't like that wording.
Hmm.
Can you not?
Hang on. Just let me click the thing.
In your magician's pocket.
Yeah. Savage is going to immediately get in the rope trick and then try and get dry.
Please, everyone, jump up my hole.
If they follow us to this side of the lake, there's no longer water between us and them.
It's
Will they
technically
be
an
able to track
extra
us?
dimensional space, and that spell also requires that you be on the same plane. So you guys will no longer be on the same plane and therefore be untrackable.
So basically, our only worry is if they find the fucking rope if they decide to come over.
Mm-hmm.
Which, from
No,
what we understand,
everybody jump up my hole. We pull the rope in. The rope is now hidden as well. Please
Yeah,
jump up my hole.
Okay. I agree.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna keep doing it until everybody gets inside. Come on.
Abbas is in.
I jump in the hole.
Okay.
Your
Um,
hole is welcoming me.
All right, let's go ahead and add. I added the bad joke counter, so we're just gonna see how high we can get this counter eventually. I can't add them. I can't add them retroactively, or else I would have we would have been at like 10 or 15 already.
So gonna. Sorry, Vidar, you're already in the hole or no? Drake's in the hole. Arturo.
Uh-huh.
Okay, everybody's in. So yeah, I'm gonna hop in and pull the rope up.
Okay. About 10 minutes later. About 10 minutes later, you see a mask that looks similar to the one Loyershik has, but like again, a low quality one with like a helmet on, looks through with the red eyes. It seems they have disappeared. Well, let's go see. And you see one black trench coat, a second black trench coat. Both of them walk in, and they also appear. They pull up the stone of what's your stone called, Sabas? The stone of gem of brightness, right?
Gem of brightness, yeah.
You pull out gems of brightness and start looking around, and then you see Yvonne come through. He's like not touching anything. He says, "Whew, so dirty in here. Well, where are they? Oh, they sneaky. I see. They've crossed over the river." He pulls out a very similar looking compass to what you guys have. Damn. They appear to have gotten away this time. It would be a shame if they were still here, attempting to hide from me. Well, let us see. He opens a bag and he pulls out a rug. Whoosh, pulls it out. They all stand on it and they fly over to the other side. Yvonne gets down, and he used to have like a really closely groomed goatee. Now he has like a really like long beard that he's like braided into like a very long thing, and he has a big clasp on it. Okay. Pulls out the compass. Still spinning. Where are they? I know they're here. Let us see. High or low, airship?
Hi.
You. And he points to one of the guys, and both of them have shields and an oversized warhammer. You. Detect magic. And he casts it, and he begins to walk around, and literally you can see like the effect of detect magic only has like a certain radius, and they literally walk around the rope trick, like to where it barely doesn't touch it. It seems they've gotten away. Well, we need to keep an eye out for them. When we get back to core, make sure they high or low, Ilya?
Hi.
Okay, then Christ.
All right. Yvonne is going to make a perception check. It is very loud in here, so I'll be giving it to him at disadvantage.
Roll for sneeze.
What's up?
I roll in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne turns to one of the Inquisitors and says, "Bless you."
No, one of the Inquisitors turns to him and goes, "Bless you." I did not sneeze. Then what was that?
Must have been the wind.
Do you say that?
No, of course I'm not saying that. It would be really funny, but I'm not doing that.
Well, we need to take core and make it at high alert. All right. Whoosh, pulls out the he basically brushes off the flying carpet, and they all get on it and sit down, and they fly through the straight through the hole at the top of the thing. And the smell was like super pungent for a minute, Ilya, and then it eventually dissipates as the spell eventually peters out. I assume that you're gonna wait in there for the duration of the spell, right?
Yeah.
The smell eventually disappears completely. What are you guys doing?
Were we able to actually get a good view of the compass that he had?
Yes.
Who are these people?
Yvonne was the one that was concerned about getting dirty. He is a diplomat of Artstadt. He is also the one that exploded a continent. He is a servant of Void. He is effectively a problem.
Is he also human?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So anyone unfamiliar to the story of Soulforged, or those of you that are new, the first 5 episodes, the party spent escorting him around the world, talking to people, doing trade deals. And then on the 6th episode, or was it the 5th episode? They went to Nilhund, and he pulled out an Eye of Moonball, transformed it into a giant spike, stabbed the king of Nilhund with it, created a black hole, and destroyed the entire continent. So Yvonne is the reason, and Yvonne went back to the Kingdom of Artstadt, told the young King Shiram the Fourth, that it was the party's fault that Nilhund was destroyed, and that's what created the Inquisition. And basically, the story up until this point is all Yvonne's fault. So that's why this specific moment is a huge deal, because Yvonne has also been searching for them forever and has been unable to detect them because of the magic of the warbands. Well, now that they're here, the magic of the warbands no longer protects them. Vidar looks like he has something to say.
It seems like he has a way of tracking us pretty reliably, which will make sneaking into the city much harder.
Which also means that now that we are out of the hole, He probably knows where we are again. It may be worth eating back to the war bands.
Not sure if we can go to core anymore. It sounds like he's around there.
The specific magic they were using to track us, if I am correct, has a range of approximately 1,000 feet or 3 kilometers. No, that's not right.
No.
300 meters. Oopsie. Roughly 300 meters.
They were further that
I
when they
think
first
his-
spotted us. I think they had better than that.
The compass they had might empower them further than that. When I looked out of the cave, they were clearly much further away than that distance.
Yeah, from Vidar, definitely from what you saw and the fact that you guys could see it almost up close. Essentially, it looked like an empowered version of Locate Creature that was specifically like crafted to find either someone in your party or everyone in your party. Basically calibrated to find you guys specifically, but also following the same generic rules of Locate Creature.
Oh, it wasn't calibrated to find me. I don't think I've done shit wrong when it comes to the Empire.
Ivan's also never met you, so he would not be
Yeah.
able to describe you.
He would have to know what you, yeah, he'd have to be able to describe you in detail. So
So there's
I do know more than one way to beat Locate Creature, even an empowered version. But you are correct. We should talk to Stanislava. We will need a powerful sorcerer or a wizard.
It would be it would be an opportunity to just send Sabis and Ilya into the city alone with the divining rod, and we can stay here safely and just wait for them.
That is not a
To try and
terrible
stay
idea.
here safely.
or simply, they know we're going to core. We go, we yeet out. We can come back and be in the city. They can't track us if we start at their destination.
That
Does
is a good
eating
plan.
leave a trail or residue or anything that they could use to track us back to the warbands and find the location of the warbands?
I doubt it.
I'm not going to make a joke right now. I'm not going to make a space joke right now. Sorry, you can't be tracked through hyperspace. Okay, I'm just...
So there is the option that me and Elias
Close
come back
encounter.
and head to the city. And you three go home.
We would need to send someone from the warbands to core in order for you guys to get back, because we only have but one Yeatstone.
We would need to wait here for your
That's right.
return in order to eat back altogether so that you would not be stranded in core. Or you could stay in core, deeply in bed, and then no, that doesn't work. We wouldn't get there.
Yeah.
You
So
could-
Never mind.
Yeet back and rendezvous here in 3 days, or sooner.
they'll give us another use stone.
Oh, how does this stone work? We must see the place we want to go.
Yes.
That is correct.
We have
So
seen the city from afar. How close must you be?
More specific.
It works based off of memory, so you have to have been within touching distance of wherever you want to go. So you have to have been standing in a place that you want to appear in.
Basically, so we can't use it to cross supposedly impassable places.
Yep.
Is probably the reasoning for that.
So me and Snake can go, look, come back, use stone. Then later use stone to come back
Closer.
because we have memory.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The three of us will wait here as we are wanted and would endanger your lives. Assuming that you are not in any specific trouble with local law enforcement and do not behave as arcane casters, you should have no problem from the Inquisitors.
Like I have anything incriminating on me.
Your
Most
arcane,
magic items are incriminating.
your arcane focus is incriminating.
Okay. Got it.
That's literally if they find you and they kill you, they can turn that arcane focus in for gold.
Gotcha.
Either
So
hide very well or leave your arcane focus with us.
Zavis is gonna pull out a very sharp piece of quartz and
Okay.
give it to Rep Rap.
So you
It's a-
cannot cast spells while you're in core.
Correct.
Okay, this is
Which means my main weapons are gone, but that's
this,
okay.
This is the most. This is not at all how I expected this to go down. By the way, this is not what I was prepared.
Ilya.
Okay, there you go.
Ilya, do you have any arcane magics? Ranger, right? So
No, he'd
okay.
be a
Are-
nature druid based.
Are magic items illegal in any way?
No, magic
Okay.
items are not illegal. It's just spell casting.
Yeah, Zavis is going to look between Vidari Loershik and fucking Rep Rap and go, alright, well, see you guys in a day, I guess. Or more.
Choose a good spot, somewhere out of the way. Or if there is nowhere out of the way, choose somewhere where people would not admit they were. Like a pornography store.
When we arrive, we will want to not have many around, or people will not admit that they saw us there.
We just need to find, like, the shittiest bathroom in the city.
There you go. So here's the plan as I understand it. Ilya and Sabis are going down to core. They're going to take the full day travel to get there by the road, right? Are you guys going a river? You're going over the proper way
The
to get there.
fastest way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just go there as normal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Loershik, Technician, and Vidar are hanging out in the cave, just chilling, right? That's like literally your objective.
I think that
We
they
will
keep,
practice socializing and telling bad jokes.
They keep the Yeet Stone, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Sabis is leaving your arcane focus behind.
Yep.
Ilya,
that is
you're
a
not
correct
leaving
question.
anything behind, correct?
I'm leaving the Drake behind, I think, is
You
wise.
can always unsummon him. You can choose to unsummon your Drake at any time.
Oh, okay, also, from what I understand, spell focuses are to allow you to cast without needing a material cost. So I should be able to
Yes.
cast these without material cost still, right?
You as long as you have the materials, you can still cast.
Well, most of my important spells do not have a material.
Yes.
Shadow
the-
Blade has no material.
so you can still cast it.
Yes.
It doesn't require an arcane focus. The arcane focus just replaces the material cost of anything that doesn't have a monetary.
I was
material
trying to
cost
remember if that was
associated with it.
correct or not.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah.
And you also
That's
are a
fine.
sorcerer, so you have ways around it regardless.
Yes.
So, okay. All
I
right.
make a note to make sure our camp in the cave is right next to the water.
Like literally, like there's basically get as much water between you and everything else as possible, essentially.
In the event of emergency, I'd like to be able to go into the water.
That's fair. You can also hold your breath for 15 minutes. I was like, if you're conscious, you could hold your breath, but you're not. So here we are.
Remember, Loerchik, we must stay on this side of the water to prevent being located.
That is fine. I can hold my breath for a very long time, and
If
most people cannot.
if either of you hear anybody coming into the cave and we do not think it is Sabis and Ilya, let me know, and we can jump up my hole again.
Your hole is quite cozy and warm.
That's another.
Thank you. I have tried hard to make that a very good hole.
Speaking
I was
of,
skeptical at first, but it has been very welcoming.
the
Another
one who can tell who is who on the way is coming with me. What would you prefer we do when we get back? I can make the earth tremor, little earthquake if you want for me to
This
sit
sounds
over
like a
back.
bad idea when we are in a cave.
If you return and there is no one following you, you can simply announce your presence.
That works.
Okay. So
Uh,
what we're going to do is we're going to do basically at this point where you guys are, when you get back on the road, this is probably the most civil, well-patrolled area that you've ever been to. Ilya, when you're on the road, you're a bit overwhelmed by the amount of smells that are in this place when it comes to like cooking and meat and spices and other fragrances throughout the entire world. It can, depending on where you are, it can get a little bit overwhelming to your senses. So I assume that you just sort of turn, like hold your breath for the vast majority of areas that you're going to, and they become a little bit too fragrant. Specifically, the crossroads between Roulon, Kor, and I think it's Helrada. That area has a massive like shanty town built of temporary buildings that are all just vendors, all of it. It's a huge sort of trade post that's that is built there specifically so that people can provision, or it just is one of the early areas that went from being a temporary thing to becoming a permanent thing over many years, and that's about the the most overwhelmed you're going to be until you get to core. Other than that, you pass over a huge stone bridge that's very similar to the one in Initmalt, except you notice that this one has undergone the renovations that Initmalt is going to. So basically, they're going from core out and renovating all of the bridges and other infrastructure as they go, because this road has recently been repaved, as well as both the bridge from Roulon to Hilrada has been redone. And both of the bridges into core have been redone as well into these massive stone and metal reinforced structures that are quite incredible.
In the like township full of vendors and stuff, I want to have a look around for any meat pies.
Oh, ooh, go ahead and make a perception check. Or an investigation check. Investigation check, please.
Give me meat pie. Please.
Honestly, a meat pie sounds really good for dinner. I need to learn to make those.
The meat pie is not here.
What?
They do have
Sorry.
meat
Do that for
pies,
fun
but
together?
it is not the meat pie.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work.
The meat pie you're looking for is not here, but there are meat pies.
How do they smell?
They smell delicious, absolutely.
I want to buy some meat pies.
Sure.
Travis will also buy some meat pies. It's been a long day, damn it. So are we in core right now? Is this in core? Or
No,
are we in,
you're the crossroads, like the
Roulon.
triple crossroads between Roulon, Core, and Hilrada, the one that also
Gotcha.
goes south. That is like a huge trading post.
My character sheet was covering up Rolong, and I was really confused for a second. I
No,
fixed the problem.
Where Vidar is, where Vidar's little token thing, that's where you guys currently are. It only takes you a couple hours to get down there, and you'll make it because of how well paved the road is. There are just dozens of carts going back and forth that literally are like, are you guys walking? Do you want to hitch a ride? And you sit on the back of a cart and you make it to core really quickly.
Faster the better.
Yeah, so you guys make it in. The people here are very kind. And very, like, if you're walking, we don't want you to walk because this is stupid. Walking is for poor people. And you guys actually make it right into core. You're not even checked at the gate. You're just immediately move through. The thing that you notice, Ilya, is that there are no guards. Every single law enforcement person here is an inquisitor. All of them.
Fuck.
Jeez.
Okay.
And
Why did my camera go?
I have no idea, but literally
Hello.
The gate-
the blurry cat girl from the events.
the gate has 24 inquisitors on it.
We've passed the gate already, or we're
Yep,
about
you
to?
moved right past the gate. The cart guy that you're riding on, literally they stop him for a moment, ask for his papers, and they look back at you. They just nod, and you move past because, let's be real, you guys sort of look like mercenaries. Or you're like the sort of like work for hire people to protect this guy on the road or something. They don't even question it. He doesn't say anything, and the Inquisitor just nods at you very subtly as you guys walk in through the gate. The thing that you notice immediately in core initially is the amount of brass and bronze that is everywhere. The sort of orange, yellow, and then some of the gray and the dark bronze is everywhere. All of the buildings are covered in it, and then they have like these giant flags that are brass, red, and white are everywhere. Everyone is wearing these like pinstripe pants, the like striped sort of pantaloons that are white and red. They all have like all their necklaces are made of brass. All of it's like super polished. It looks like gold, but it's like really yellow. That's the color of brass when it's very polished. And yeah. Ilya, you also have the divining rod. So you have a little railroad spike that's about yay long. And it's like a blued metal with temper in it. And where are you going? So there's 4 districts within core. There's the market district There's the sort of suburb area where they have an upper and lower level to the suburbs. The suburbs have upper levels that have catwalks that go between them, but they're very, very nice catwalks. They're not like the dirty grates of like an industrial area. They're actually very nice, like metal plates that have been polished, and then the patina has just weared on over years. Of basically oxidized. It's not rusted, but it's like oxidized silver looking almost. And they hang from these giant chains that go in between everything. But then the buildings are all built on top of each other. They built vertically rather than horizontally. But this also covers a huge area. And you would probably guess that around, I think I actually have a number for this. How
Are
many?
there any like alcoves or an aqueduct, or I guess like just a sewer system or something that we could find?
Yeah, I was about to ask another question.
Not that's opened.
Okay. So Sabas is gonna like sit in a move to a bit of a corner and then sort of look at the light and go, I'm not sure if we're gonna find someplace hidden within the city, but we could just go on a walk around the walls.
Core is home to around 35,000 people.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
massive compared to the cities that you're used to. Huge.
And what does the divining rod do now I'm in the city?
It depends on where you are. So you have the capital district is like sort of government buildings, market district, the suburbs, and then you have the industrial quarter. The industrial quarter is a very mechanical, sort of whimsical looking area. What quarter are you going to? The gates move immediately into the market district. To the right goes the industrial district. To the very far end is the government district, and then the suburbs are sort of all surrounding those areas specifically. So it's like not quarters. It's like a 3 sections of a circle, and then the circle is surrounded by the civic quarter essentially.
Is there like a city map or like an info center or something at the front of the city?
Everywhere. They have these giant poles that have a circular sort of rotating cylindrical map that shows like the three sections of the circle, and then the civic center around it goes all around, or like the living area goes all the way around, and it says you are here right at the very edge of.
I'm gonna go up to one of them and like scroll through the cylinder and just be like, blueberry, where is blueberry district?
I'm just gonna pat a lie on the back and go, we're not gonna find them that way, I guess.
Then let's walk.
Let's just walk a circle.
Oh, so you're gonna walk on the outside of the circle near the living areas, or are you gonna go a
Center.
little bit deeper in?
Probably like the middle of the city kind of area. Not quite downtown, but not quite nobody living area, so to speak.
Sure. So you go a little bit farther in, and there's a large circular road that goes all the way in between all of the districts in the center area. And when you get in there, you start moving basically clockwise around it. So you pass through the industrial district. The second that you get to the government district, Ilya, you immediately notice a smell of blueberries gets fairly strong. You're not really sure. Both of you make a perception check, please.
We are getting closer. Much closer.
Sabas, you're not really looking. You're like looking around, but you're not really sure what you're looking for. He just says we're getting close. And Ilya, you notice on the map that nearby there's a place called the Pantheon, and it's a very large building that you're not really sure, but it appears to be some sort of religious center of some sort. And as you sniff, and that's basically where the smell is coming from.
This building important for us.
Sabas is gonna look at it and go, okay.
And
we should go to the edge of the city and find some place where we can safely yeet in.
Your pocket is getting a little warm, by the way, Ilya. You
I'm gonna
pull
pull out the rod.
it's glowing and vibrating because you're fairly close to the Soulforged.
Samus is gonna like poke that down and put that away. Let's not put attention to ourselves.
But magic pencil showing me where is blueberries.
We know where it is now. We need to come back with everyone. Find someplace safe that we can have everyone come in. You're good at hiding. Let's go find someplace to hide.
Okay.
So Samus wants to beeline basically straight to the outer edge of the city and try and find anywhere where a pack of 5 hooligans can show up and probably only be expected to have done something in the last 5 minutes. That's
Okay.
not too catastrophic.
Fair enough. You get to the
You know, under a bridge.
you get
that kind
to
of thing.
the outer living quarters area, and you're looking around, and you can actually see that there are a bunch of like alleyways, but most of them are used for, essentially they house a sort of clockwork mechanism. You're not really sure, like a strange looking automaton that sort of sweeps and cleans these like catwalks as well as any trash. Basically has a big button on it that says, hey, we need something cleaned up. It has directions on it. Basically you hit the button, walk the machine over to what you need cleaned, and that's what it does. That's its whole purpose. And they have these
The Mr. Handy version 1.
yeah, basically. And they have loads of these everywhere, and they're sort of dark corners that nobody really goes into. And you can find a very not busy place because a lot, as Ilian knows, he's been going into the really like technologically advanced areas, that the closer you are to an industrial district, the less likely people are home during the day, because the people that work in the industrial district live nearby. So if you get to one of those like nooks near the industrial district, you're less likely to see people during the day. So if you eat during the day, you want to be near the industrial district, but if you eat during the night, you want to go towards some of the more seedy areas. The more seedy areas are closer to the market because that's where you can have brothels and things like that. So those would be a little bit safer during the nighttime, and then the rest of it would be a little bit more the industrial area would be safe during the day, and the seedier areas would be safer during the nighttime.
A is probably better.
Or both. 4 options.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's do another walk around the city and go through the seedy and the industrial areas.
And also, you need to remember that there is a huge amount of time difference between where you currently are and the warbands. So you do have to take that into account as well.
Yep. Already was thinking that.
Okay. Because it's very nearly on the other side of the world for you guys if you're at the warbands. So, just thought I'd remind you, you know? Yeah, so you guys walk around the entire area, and you're noticing that, wow, there's a lot of people around here, and then you get to, like, oh, we're right next to the market district where the brothels and the other areas are located, like the red light district and stuff like that. Are you guys actually going to go into the Pantheon or no?
No.
Okay. Are you
Not
going,
yet.
Are you going anywhere near it?
We
Just
walked by it.
just to see it.
Oh, so
Yeah,
the
we walked
Pantheon. The Pantheon is a massive stone dome building that has a huge brass dome bolted onto the top of it, and it is an absolutely gorgeous building. Of all the buildings in Core, this is probably the nicest one. It has these massive metal-plated columns that go up and down all the way across, and it's basically a huge open building that just has entrances every other pillar essentially, and it's a giant circular staircase that leads all the way up into it, and you can actually see inside of it that there are statues dedicated to every god basically every so often on the inside, and then they have like little buildings on the outside that are all dedicated to the gods as well. So basically they literally have a building that is for religion and everyone involved in said religion for anything ever.
So we've seen
So,
we've seen market, Pantheon, and we have the like 3 locations that we need, right?
We need industrial. So we have the day option. So walk around some factories, kind of thing.
Sure.
Oh, we should go to the houses, right?
The houses
'Cause if
near the
we-
industrial district are better
Yeah.
are better areas to go near.
Yeah. So basically, we found the good place in the night. We found the YOLO into the middle of the city and commit a home invasion strategy, and we have the let's go to the find the place during the day strategy. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, so you go to the edge of the industrial district, and it's basically the industrial district here is essentially hundreds and hundreds of machine shops, just tons of them, because they're all little like tinkering, like little, not places that sell anything specifically, but they're just basically giant warehouses that have. Even just being in the living areas nearby, you can smell smelting metal, you can smell fuel, you can smell all basically you can even smell a little bit of temper every once in a while. Ilya, that smell is the smell of temper is very unique for what you're doing. And not because there's a Soulforged, because there is temper here being forged. So
Production of magic items and
production of magic items, but it's like the least potent of all the smells that you can smell between molten metals and fuel.
So they're only being interested in a little bit of temper.
Barely any.
So it's not a good idea to bring our temper bender in and just cause a mass. Regardless,
Yeah. But basically, as you're like nearing the houses, you can smell. Basically, this is a place where industry is done. That's pretty much it. It's very loud as well. Living near there, it's very, very loud.
So we found some place we can probably yeet in during the day and be fine.
Yes.
In doing this. Okay. So we have no more purpose in the city.
Time to leave.
I agree. Go back to the main gate and find a car out. About to Rulon.
Both of you make a perception check at advantage for me, please.
I don't like
Oh,
that.
so I forgot to say I was tipping the previous car driver 25 silver, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure. So both of you are sort of standing there at the edge of the industrial district, and you're making your way toward the center to get to the main road, because the main channel of road goes to the center, and then it branches off into tiny little capillary roads that lead off to specific areas. You get back to the main artery, and as you're sitting there, you're looking around. The smell of blueberries gets very, very potent. And you turn around and you see this man. Show players. You see this man.
So is our Soul Forger just walking about the city?
The Soulforged?
Yeah.
Yeah. If both of you would like to make a religion check, he has armor covered in religious symbols.
It's him. I smell him.
I also smell them, but we probably shouldn't engage right now.
Oh, dang. Ilya, you recognize the symbols of Infold the Ill-Tempered all over his armor. He appears to be a paladin.
He is a paladin. Who is, say again, the god? Illfold?
Infold.
Ill-tempered? Infold?
Infold the Ill-Tempered.
So we have a Soul Forged in a city that seems to be controlled by Inquisitors, who is an Inquisitor.
No, he's not. The
Probably.
Inquisitors worship
Well-
Havoc.
Okay.
The Inquisitors are Havoc paladins. They are not. There's no other god that they worship.
I thought it was just a generic, all the paladins are kind of the
No,
same.
no,
Got
no,
it.
no. You even know this. Like, you've seen a couple Inquisitors now. They only have Havoc symbol iconography on their armor and stuff. He has Infold the Ill-Tempered.
Savis is gonna just look at Elia and go, "We know what he looks like. Let's go home. Let's get them. Then we can grab him and get him out later."
Yes. We'll come back later. Does the yeet stone only work with places? Like you can't go to a person, right?
Yeah,
It only works with places.
that'd be really funny if you could though.
It's it's geographically locked. Yes.
Hello, buddy. I see you're having a piss. Thank you for the teleport kick down this hall.
Yeah. So you guys are leaving core.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys made it that evening. Are you gonna stay here the evening, or are you gonna leave at night?
Mm.
Because it's like the sun has not quite set yet, but it's starting to set right now.
I think we should rent some horses and leave. Or a cart if
Probably
there's
do the. I
carts
think we
running
do
at
the
night.
cart. Cart's less conspicuous. If there's a cart, that is.
Sure, there's plenty of carts that go between like just Roulon and Court, just doing passengers. And you can also long rest on there as well. They're fairly expensive. They're 2 gold per person.
Yep. So 2
Sounds
gold per
good.
person. So rip
Um,
that.
And yeah, you guys uneventfully, actually quite luxuriously, travel all the way to. They actually let you out at Roulon, like the gates. Roulon is like a very small fishing-based city. The river here is actually 1.25 miles wide, and it's just lined with fishing boats literally all day and night because it depends on what day or night. It depends on what time of day it is. You can get specific fish and like certain creatures come out that they also like farm as well. It's got a bunch of like fisheries and other things on the edge. It's a very industry related town. You don't go in there, but you arrive basically the next morning. It's only gonna take you half day to get back up to the mountains. And you guys actually make it back to the lake, the underground lake, without any issues.
Hello, friends. It is us.
So anyway, I says to Mabel, I says, "Oh, they have returned. I'll finish this joke later." Hello.
I think at this point you can't see us. I was just gonna like pull out her gym. Probably has her doing brightness out anyways. So just wave it. All right, we'll be over there in a minute. We found our dude. He's a paladin. Back in the case, back in your backpack. Start swimming over.
Okay. Were Loershek technician Vidar, did you guys do anything specific during the day and 2 days they were gone? What'd you do?
We socialized.
You just socialized?
Was
You
it 2
practiced?
days?
It was 2 days.
Sounds
'cause
like it.
It
Okay.
took you a day to get there, and then it took a whole day for you to travel from Core to Roulon, and then another half day for you to get back. Exactly.
Well, it sounds like
Yeah.
I thought it sounded like the cards made it way faster.
Oh, the cart-
Got it.
It did, but it was also the fact that you started traveling at night. So yeah, it was a total of 2 days completely.
Okay.
Because you traveled the night that you were resting. So yes, it was a grand total of 2 days.
Gotcha.
While you were gone, Lorchik told us entirely about his history.
Did he though?
He may have made up some details. It was quite long. It did take most of 2 days.
Did he though?
What questions
Did he
did technician ask me about my
yeah.
history?
Why are you called venerable if you are not old?
Venerable is a title bestowed upon.
This I understand.
For
How did you
reasons.
earn this title? You lied to me before about the grenades, and you saw how upset I was about that. Please stop lying to me, Lorchik.
I earned my title because I led my people.
So you are a leader, a prominent leader, a venerable leader, a most honorable
One
venerable
might say
leader.
so.
Burrow worm.
I was elected to lead my people.
I was just gonna like while swimming, just like gonna put her head up, and go, "Good job."
And it was a fair election?
Arguably so. The people of Dahakoan had put me up, and you remember the dragon that we met underground, yes?
Yes.
His race of people determine who gets to lead underground. And I am on a court of people who lead all the cities, but I was on a court of people who lead all the cities. Uh, Unfortunately, the people currently in power are not Daha Cohen.
So you are a leader that was elected fairly by the people whose seat of power was usurped by the current people in power and are therefore
Usurped.
living in exile in exile.
Usurped is a interesting way to put it. Daha Cohen was in power, but then our leader stepped down to go find himself. And the current town that is leading unfairly.
But you were the leader, so you stepped down to go find
I
yourself.
am the representative of Daha Cohen. The leader before me, the Artis Star, was Emerald.
There's so much about underground politics I do not understand. Will you
Well, you've
return to
never
lead your
asked.
people? This is the first time we've had any real downtime. The last time we had downtime, I made you armor.
I am no longer on the court. I was arrested, and I was forced to do hard labor for a few years because the current leaders framed me. They ambushed me, and yeah.
I see. Does this upset you?
No. I enjoyed my time leading my people and representing their interests. I don't think I did nearly as good of a job as my father did.
You seem to have made it out with your life. Far worse things have happened in overthrowing governments.
I would not be surprised if I only survived to avoid political warfare. My framing and accusing me of assault and numerous other things wouldn't have gone over nearly as well if they didn't have me as a scapegoat.
So that all happened while you two were away.
Yep.
And then
There's a
fast forward. Yep.
There's a very deep conversation had, and then you guys come back and you yeet back to the war bands. Whoosh. I really need to set. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah. So you guys arrive back at the war bands at Goransk on the Blackstone step stairs. Back to your people. And that's where we're gonna leave this episode of Soulforged. Thanks everyone for watching. Those of you who are watching, appreciate you. Yeah, and then next week, same time, hopefully. Hopefully we won't have meetings and stuff, but you know, what's out of our control is out of our control. We're just here to adapt and overcome. So everyone have a great weekend. Do the right thing. Stay safe. Oh, what? Why is there an Ilya there just chilling? Who knows? But yeah, we should see you same time next week. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye.